I'm Isabella.
Hi, my name is Keith Flippin, and I'm the owner of The Actor's Place, which is a Meisner technique-based acting school for film and television actors in Virginia Beach. I like to think that that puts me in the business of being a renewalist for other people.
And we've been doing lessons together since the beginning of the year, writing songs and learning songs.
I would love for more people to find out just how great comic books are. They're not just about superheroes. They're probably some of the most eclectic works being produced today are being done in graphic novel form.
I am Beatty Barnes. I'm a stand-up comedian, actor, 25 years in the business, and I am here today.
About 2005, Lisa Hartz and I got together and founded the Muse Writers Center.
I'm Brian Muir, and I renew the city like this.
We've heard some students who have said, "Oh yeah, a teacher told me, that I shouldn't bother with this, or this was no good," and I just stopped trying to write for years. And then they found our group and sort of found their voice again.
If you feel something inside of you that you know has to be done, as long as it's not hurting somebody else. I mean, you might have some crazy thoughts. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the thoughts you have that something inside is telling you. Embrace it. Embrace it.
We certainly have standards, and we certainly teach craft, but we want to help everybody who comes to us really find, refine, enhance, improve, and work on their individual voice.
People walk around with a concretion or an encrustation of social expectation. And we're bound up by these things, and it is impossible to be true to self when you spend most of your time trying to satisfy an external expectation.
When I was designing this place, I wanted to feel more welcoming than most comic book stores typically have been in the past. I've got a little statue of the comic book guy on my desk as a reminder of who not to be.
Well, this is the first time that I will have ever been in an art show.
There's so much stuff that's going on here that's not even on the radar that I wish more people, knew about.
And I feel like being with kids a lot really brings out like a childlike wonder about the kind of art that I do. In the picture, my cat is sniffing these flowers, which are too magical and dangerously enchanting, and she might turn into a flower herself. I'm kind of one of those ladies that, I could end up being that crazy cat lady one day, but I'm trying not to have 18 of them.
I was working on a film once with Jeff Daniels. I did Gods and Generals.
My name is Sky, and I have a problem with loving cats. And it's not a problem. It's magical. Magical.
I mean, life is kind of serious sometimes for a lot of people. It gets very serious, and it shouldn't be that serious. It should be an experience. And I love sharing my experiences with as many people as possible.
And it was cold, and it was miserable, and we got our lunch break finally. And we're all we look like we've been to war. We're carrying these plastic lunch trays. And Jeff Daniels walks up to the table. He's getting ready to sit down, and he looks at us, and we're all covered in mud, and he says, "The glamour. I'm in it for the glamour."
You ever been in your car so long that your breath starts to ricochet off the windshield of the car, back up your nose, and you know it's your breath because you're the only one in the car?
I'm the Don Quixote of acting teachers.
You ever use sweet breath? Sweet breath? No? Suppose a place like a vial on your tongue, just a little, comes in a bottle shaped like Visine. I got both of them mixed up. I put the Visine on my tongue and the sweet breath in my eyes. Got pulled over by the cops. The cops looking at me like, "You have some very minty eyes." I'm like, thank God my tongue's not bloodshot. That, ladies and gentlemen, was an experimental joke.
There are a lot of people out there, I think, seeking to take advantage of people's good intentions and desires to fulfill their creative selves.
A person shouldn't be hindered in working on this creative side of themselves because of money. And because of that, if you can't afford a class, we just cover the rest of the tuition, as long as you talk to us about it ahead of time.
I kind of see it as my job, having reached a certain level of professional success, certainly not a star, but a certain level of professional success, that it's my job to kind of step in and call people out on shenanigans, when I see them, and to step in and intervene on my students' behalf if I see them being taken advantage of. Any actor, frankly, I've got a soft spot for.
They have to bring someone in to Hampton Roads before anyone goes to see them, It's like, oh my God, Savion Glover's coming. Savion's coming.
If I don't get a role, and somebody else I know from Virginia, or even the Southeast, an actor that I've met and worked with before, gets that role, I'm thrilled, because it means that they didn't bring somebody in from LA or New York to do it. It means it went to one of us. We still win. And if we keep winning, then the odds are good that eventually our time comes around.
There's a lot of great cartoonists, comic book artists, comic book writers right here in Norfolk and Hampton Roads. It's an honor for me to carry their stuff. It sells well. People want to support their community, and there's a lot of really great books.
The hardest things to do when you're acting in front of a camera are to be vulnerable, allow yourself to be vulnerable, and to be ugly.
As a performer, you realize that there comes a time where you have to draw the line, And there was some very bad things that happened in that production, and it made me realize sometimes things aren't worth it. Because, you end up not just hurting those around you, but you end up hurting yourself.
I think that a person can have their creativity dampened in a lot of different ways. This desire to be creative, this desire to create something in the world from your voice is dampened down, is pushed down, is repressed. And I think that that's not healthy.
I would renew the city by making more bike and pedestrian paths for people to get around. Even just down here on Independence, if you want to get to the other side of the highway, you can't do it without being very dangerous. So I think they should do more of that.
One of my friends, one of his catchphrases is, being a community member is not a birthright.
The best part of this job has been getting to know people on a regular basis.
There are so many ways to be a community member that have to be inventive and have to be creative.
We see people week after week because comics come out on a weekly basis. We see the same customers 4 or 5 times a month, and you get to know people.
After a show, you realize that a lot of people are, they're touched by what you're doing because they had a good time, they're laughing. You make them laugh, you bring them joy.
I'm at my happiest when I'm collaborating with other creative people.
But there are moments where you have someone that says, I really got the sweet breath thing, because my breath smells bad when I'm driving too. And I go, I understand.
And you should introduce the song since you wrote it.
When I was 13 years old, I tried to write a novel. And I didn't have anyone to point me in the right direction.
It's about a garden and a brother and sister walking in this garden, and it's supposed to be magical.
I've had students who started in the intro classes, and I've seen them go to the more advanced classes, and just seeing the difference in their work is just, it really brings joy.
Joyful and happy as can be, seeing as
when it all comes out in the wash, you know, we've made the world a better place.